Guys, I got a selfie stick today. So I'm going to take you on a little bit of an adventure. Hello everyone, welcome to my channel, Kimbaskrafts. My name is Kim, and if this is your first time clicking on one of my videos and checking me out, I hope you enjoy what you hear and see. And if you're returning from a previous video, as always guys, thank you for your continued support. We are here to do a WIP and Chat. This is long overdue. I'm trying to do them once a week, but in my defense, I have been doing a lot of kit up and kit downs, and I do some chatting in those. So, yeah, I just haven't had as much time to record. We are here with my latest kit up, which is Mary by Staroar, and the artist is named Prasad KB. And as you can see, I'm fairly kind of along on this. Yeah, I got pretty far on this. And I don't know, I'm thinking maybe I have enough to talk to you guys about to finish this. We'll see. I felt like I would finish this too quickly. So I thought, well, I know I'm already into this, because initially my thought was, let me do the WIP and Chat on the last square. And then as I'm sitting here, I'm like, I don't know, I might run out of diamond painting. So then I decided, let me just start now, okay? So that's what we're doing. I'll turn the light off just so you guys can get a better look at it without the light on. And there we are. I haven't even really looked at it fully, like stood up and stuff, but hopefully we'll finish it together and we can do that. Let's just go over my things. So if you're new to diamond painting, welcome. I hope you enjoy and love this craft for many, many, many years. I'm on my 3rd year. I can't believe it. But yeah, I'm on my 3rd year and I'm still going strong and loving it every day, just as much as the 1st year. And so we are here to do what's called a WIP and Chat, and that is just where I'm going to work on one of my WIPs, which is this project here, Work in Progress. And I'm going to work on it while I sit here and talk your ears off. Apparently, I'm really good at that. I'm really good at just talking to myself. So it could be an issue, it could not be an issue, but I decided to record it on top of it. So I think that if my neighbors walked by, they'd think that it was an issue. Anyway, let's just go over my things real quick. I'm just going to show you what I'm using on this WIP. Initially, when I started this, I thought I was going to use my standard go-to, which is Joy's Putty. I love this stuff. There are 9 or 10 rhinestones in this. And this putty is great for any kind of special drills. It really works well. However, I had an issue right off the bat starting this. The glue on this is not the best. So Staroar, I feel like, is a great, okay, if we were going to look at diamond painting companies as stores, okay, and we were going to say like, you know, the Temus and the Amazons are like Walmart, then we would say that Staroar is like a Target or Kohl's, okay? So they're an upgrade. I really thoroughly enjoy them. As you can see, they work up beautifully. They have pretty decent drills, but it's not going to be the quality of like the Lord & Taylor and Nordstrom's, you know, our Oroloas and our Diamond R Clubs. It's not going to be that quality, but for the price point, I think that they're really great. You can get some of them under $15 and on Amazon, delivered the next day. It's a beautiful thing. And so if you're looking for something a little on the smaller side, that is an upgrade from, you know, the other companies. And also this is licensed, so you have that going too, okay? So the glue on this wasn't the best, and I was having a difficult time getting my drills off of my pen with the Joy's putty. So, truth be told, with the glue dot as well, I really had to dirty up my glue dot in my single placer. So I use glue dots in my single placer, and I generally use, my standard go-to is Joy's putty all the time. I never need like a second pen for my ABs. It's just Joy's putty. And so what I ended up doing was I pulled out what came with the kit, which is Staroar's blue wax, and I was having a hard time with my metal placer even. So I just threw on the thin multi-placer that comes with the kit, and this has been working beautifully. So I've just been using the plastic thin multi-placer that came with the kit, the blue wax that came with the kit, and then the metal placer. This pen is also from Amazon. I can't find it anymore. Unfortunately, I love this pen. It's a great little pen. It's pretty fancy for Amazon. Again, I got it, you know, for less than $15, and it might have been even like $8 or something crazy. And I use it quite often because it's just very pretty and sparkly. So that's what I'm using for my pen. I'm kitted up in my Elizabeth Ward knockoff tray here. I got this actually from AliExpress. However, I've seen them now being offered on Amazon. I will link it below. I love this tray. You know, I actually was listening to Artemis Dreams. If you haven't listened to her on Amazon, if you haven't listened to her on YouTube, she's got a great channel. And I was listening to her recent WIP and Chat, and she was saying how she prefers the knockoff over the OG Elizabeth Ward. And I'm going to have to kind of agree with her. I still tend to use this to open it. The reason why she was saying that is because these containers are very easy to open, and you can use your nail. And I will use my nail and not have a problem. Elizabeth Ward is definitely tougher to open, so I use these to open them usually. Out of habit, sometimes I use this. Sometimes I just grab it and I open it. I'm not afraid to open these with my nail, is basically what I'm saying. These open up easier, and I don't think it'll break my nail, so I will cheat and do that every now and again. But yeah, I do love this tray set, and for it's, you know, much cheaper than the Elizabeth Ward. I think it's totally worth it. So if you were looking to try Elizabeth Ward but felt it was too pricey, then go ahead and go in my description box. This will be linked below, okay? Just a disclaimer, and it's already in the description, so I usually don't say this on a video, but I am an Amazon associate, and I will get commission on anything you purchase through a link, okay? And then I have my timer here. I have my, oh, this is perfect. I'm going to be doing a little small shop opening, and it's from, this was a gift to me from my friend Susie. She has a YouTube called Crafting with Susie. She was off of YouTube for, I think, a good year, And she just released a video, her first video of the year, which was her 2024 year in review. And she explains on there where she's been and why. So it's not my story to tell. If you want to hear it, please check out her channel. She's adorable and I love her to death. Very sweet lady. And she sent me this for Christmas one year. So yeah, I use it all the time. This is my trash tray. And as you can see, you know, she dabbles in other crafts other than just diamond painting. So I think this is a resin tray. And she sparkled it all up for me. So I have this, and those are my trash drills. But Susie just recently launched an Etsy shop, and it's called Cutesy Coverminders, and I went on there and I purchased some. So we're going to go ahead and open these. Yeah, that was so perfect. So I got 2 packages, and I'm not exactly sure why. So we're going to open this one. This one came first, and I was surprised to get the second one. Oh, we got some Starburst here. Okay, so that's one. I even forget what I got. Looks like there's 3 in here. I forgot what I got. And here's her card. Cutesy Coverminders. Very cute. Oh, there's actually an Instagram. I'm going to have to go and follow that. I didn't know. And then I can tag her in these. And it says, these are thank you for supporting my small business. So I'm just going to look at my invoice. I cannot remember. Okay. Oh, I think, oh, because I didn't know how to distinguish one. That was my mistake, I think. So this was, this is a panda. How cute is this? Oh, so cute. Great magnet. And honestly, guys, I have been using Coverminders more now than ever. So when I saw her shop, look how cute he is. I was like, yes, I need more Coverminders. So he's adorable. And I loved this one. I loved this one. This is so cute. Motherhood. I feel like, yes, this is how motherhood feels. Lots of hearts. You're so happy. You got flowers in your hair, but you're running on fumes. I love this one so much. I was like, I have to have that. And then I have a couple stickers in here. So cute. Okay, and then I thought this was super cute too. Not made for winter, and it's a cactus with scarves and hats and mittens. Honestly, guys, it's so funny because I used to not be made for winter. I used to not be made for winter. This winter has been such a change for me with my dog. So I have a Rottweiler. She'll be 1. I can't believe it. She'll be 1 in March. She's going on 11 months old in a little bit. Okay, so I think this was my mistake. I wasn't sure how to distinguish that I wanted this particular Coverminder, and so I put in a comment if I could have this one, and this one was sent. So I apologize, Susie, but this is the one I wanted. It's a cat girl. And I have, this is the one that I really, really wanted because I have a very specific canvas I want to use this on. So and there's a story behind why. But yeah, the magnets are great on these. These are so cute. I love her. So yeah, go check her out, her shop out on Etsy, Cutesy Coverminders. Of course, I will link her shop. I will link her YouTube below as well. But yeah, so excited. Thank you, Susie. I love them. They're adorable. I'm just going to put these off to the side right now. The only other two things I want to point out is that I am using, well, this is from Diamond Art Club, and it's just because sparkly, it matched. And like I said, I don't have, I wish I had more Coverminders to like really match my canvases. And then I have this tray from Staroar Diamonds. This is my go-to small tray. I love this tray. And I love this for like high confetti and, you know, just a few drills, not a lot craziness. And this is the tray that I'm using for, excuse me, for my color blocky areas, which is kind of heavy in this particular canvas. So now, if you don't know what a Coverminder is, this is how I section off my diamond paintings. I just section it off with washi tape. The reason why I use the washi tape is because I know where my line ends. I know where this film starts, so I know where I'm diamond painting up to. I like to have that clear, distinguished line, and then the Coverminder holds it back. I diamond paint with my left hand, so it's constantly on this cover. It's moving it over and stuff. So I've been really enjoying using the Coverminders, and yeah, now I have something else to collect. So I'm just going to go ahead and get right into diamond painting this. And I worked last night, which is why I sound like I have sleep in my voice. And when I'm done recording this, I'm going to have to go lay back down because I go back tonight. It is Sunday night that I'm recording this. And yeah, I've been up for a good hour. I already ate my oatmeal. I didn't want to start this until I ate because I was really hungry and I knew I would have a lot of like stomach grumblings going on. And I didn't want that to disturb the video. So I already ate my oatmeal. I've been up for a good hour and a half. And I tell you what, I don't even want to look, but I'm sure my screen time on my phone is just outrageous. I spend way too much time on my phone, scrolling, playing games. I've downloaded this game that I'm obsessed with. It was so funny because I downloaded this game and I've gotten to like 90 plus level, and I'm like, oh, it's so hard. And my son's like, oh, let me try it. He came over the other night. He's like, here, let me try it. And I give it to him thinking, this is crazy. He's going to start on level 90. You want to know he beat it? First try, he beat it. His fingers were like, I said, oh my goodness, I can't even watch that fast, let alone do it that fast. Wow. And that was when I realized, yeah, I'm getting old. Because, you know, when your kids are little and they look at you like that and you're doing things very efficiently, and you're just doing circles around them, and they're just like, wow. And they think you're like the greatest thing since sliced bread. And yeah, now it's the opposite. I'm the slowpoke who can't keep up, and he's doing circles around me. And yeah, it you know how life comes full circle, and I'm just like sitting there. Oh my God. And it's going to start happening at work. Like, I knew that it would, I knew one day I would, you know, I would start to say to people, oh, when you're older, when you're older. Because I remember when I was a nurse, and the older nurses would say that to me, and I would think, yeah, I'm still 30, you know, whatever. And I felt pretty young, you know. And now it's starting to get to the point where I'm like, well, when you're my age, when you're my age, when you're older, when you're this. And then I knew that I was like, oh, one day I'm going to go into work and I'm going to be working with someone that my kids went to school with. Well, that happened. I actually had to, I was like her preceptor, one of her preceptors. And yeah, she graduated with my son. I was like, I knew this day was coming. I also knew, I remember when I was a younger nurse and nurses would tell jokes and stories and stuff, and I had no idea who they were talking about. And I would just look at them with like deer in headlight eyes. I have no idea who you're talking about. I have no idea who that is. I've never heard that song. That's me now. I'm telling stories. They're looking at me. And I'm just like, nothing? You seriously? It's not, no bells are ringing right now, right? And it's just like, okay, yeah, you're reminding me I am old, Kim. You're getting older. I remember I said on one of the WIP and Chats, like, and I said this to them too. I made a joke and like they didn't understand it. See, this is what I mean. Like, it's even hard to correct because things start coming off and they're not sticking. Wait a minute. Is this a, oh, that's a red crystal. Oh, that's the 6 over there. I'll put this back. I said to, one time I made a joke and they were just looking at me like, what? And I looked at them and I said, you know, you're making me waste my jokes because this is really funny. And if you had any idea what I was talking about, you would think I was hilarious right now. And I was like so sad. I was like, geez, why did I waste this joke on someone who doesn't understand it? But yeah, that's, so watching him do that game and his fingers flying across the screen, I was just like, and he got it. I was like, wait a minute, you cleared the board? And he's like, yeah, that was easy. I'm like, easy? Oh, why don't you just twist the knife while it's back there? But yeah, you also are very proud and happy to see your kids are like, you know, doing well and all that. So I'm just gonna refer back to my motherhood. Yeah, you know, when you're younger, it's because you're running on fumes. When you're older, it's because, yeah, you're old. Okay. So I am the biggest procrastinator. Like, I don't know how to fix that, guys. Okay, so here's what I mean. I had 9 days off. 9 days. Okay, I worked extra hard on the first week. I only had 1 day off, and I went back and I did 2 more days, and I got bonus, and, you know, I was super tired, whatever. But I knew that once I finished that, I wasn't going to pick up any time in the following week, which would give me 9 days off in a row. So I was fine with, you know, being tired and doing all that. That was no problem. Well, every day that I was off, I thought to myself, I need to clean the floors. I need to, like, I wanted to get on my hands and knees and, like, scrub the baseboards and do all this stuff, organize this cabinet, organize that cabinet, like, just do a decently deep clean, you know. And I would start and I would get, like, the bathroom done, and I would do this. And then this is what I mean. I was spending so much time on my phone. I'm wasting my life away on this phone. And it wouldn't get done. And I'd be like, oh, well, I have 8 more days. Oh, well, I have 7 more days. Oh, well, I have 6 more days. Well, when you know, and then I would sit here feeling stressed about it. Like, it would just be on my mind and my heart. Like, Kim, you really need to clean this house. You really need to get this house organized. You know, your motto for this year, or your theme for the year, is being organized. And I would not do it that day. And the day would come and go, and I wouldn't get it done. And so finally, it's Friday, the day before I go back to work, and I start cleaning the heck out of my house. Yes, guys, I wait till the day before, the one day that I should be relaxing, right? No, I decide that's the day that I'm going to do all my laundry. I'm going to clean. I deep cleaned everything. I sprayed and wiped all the cabinets down, all my appliances. Did all the laundry, my bedding, everything. And went back, and of course, you know, that's every week. Every week you got to bleach the bathroom every week. So I had to do all that again, did all the things, and I did lots of organization, like in my bathroom cabinet. I told my daughter, listen, I'm going down there and I'm organizing. I'm throwing a ton of stuff out. And so my whole thing was, if you haven't used it or thought about it or even knew it was there for a year or more, then throw it away. I had all these face masks that were expired. I was like, they expire? And she's like, yeah. So I had to throw all this stuff out. Yeah, it was a mess. And she's like, Mom, I got you this like 2 Christmases ago, this face mask. And I'm like, geez, I mean, if I don't see it, I forget I have it. So, and then usually I will do a face mask, like a brightening face mask or something like that, if I have a special event to go to. Your girl doesn't go to special events. So, yeah, they never get used. Okay, I don't know what else to say. So, yeah, it was... I don't know. And then, so I did everything but the floorboards and the floor and everything. I cleaned out my coffee cabinet. I threw away like old coffee syrups from 2021 that I haven't even looked at in the back of the cabinet. I'm like, why am I keeping all this crap? So, yeah, I just really deep cleaned. I had like, my daughter had all these teas open and like 2 boxes of this kind of tea, 2 boxes. So I married them. Like I was going ham on organizing and cleaning, and I just feel so much better. I went through Moogie's cabinet. There was all these treats that we've never even given to her. There was things that I got for her as a puppy, like chicken feet. She used to love chicken feet. Well, I don't give them to her anymore because she started to try to swallow them whole. And, you know, she's just too big for them now. They were great for when she was a puppy. She loved them. But now she has thrown up a whole chicken foot. So I'm like, okay, no more of those. There's a whole bag of those. So I'm going to take all this stuff to work and give it to anyone who has a dog who would like these treats, because I don't know, you know, why are they still in my cabinet? She can't have them. They're taking up space. They're being wasted. So I just was like, I feel really good about what I did end up getting done, but I'm just like, why do you do that? Why do you do that? I mean, the one thing is if I did it on my first or second day off, I would have had to repeat a lot of, not the deep cleaning stuff, but like the bathroom and the vacuuming and all that, you know, for the next week. I would have had to repeat it all anyway, but still, like, I just would have been so much easier. But it got done. I'm happy it got done. That's Moogie. She's sleeping. I got her a bed for the craft room. So when she was a puppy, I had Soju's bed in here, and we tried putting it in her crate, and she was not a bed person, not a bed dog. We would find her in the crate behind the bed. She wouldn't lay in it, or if she did lay in it, it would be to chew on it. So we got rid of it, and I never got her a bed. But now that she's getting older, and like even when we would go to my friend's house, my friend would have like 2 beds in the living room, 2 dog beds, and she would lay on the floor. She's like, why is she laying on the floor? I'm like, I don't know. This is just what she does. But now she's starting to like jump up on the couch to sleep. She's starting to jump up on our bed to sleep. And so Bob said to me, I really think she would enjoy a dog bed. I really do. I think she would really enjoy dog bed. So I ordered one because, you know, guys, I was having a problem with her wanting to be in here, you know, and so she would want me to go out into the living room because she didn't want to be out there alone. And I couldn't diamond paint. Like, she was taking time away from that. Of course, you know what I did out there. I just sat out there and I scrolled. So anyway, so I thought maybe she would like bed. Well, she loves this thing. She absolutely loves this thing. And now she just sleeps and snores away while I diamond paint. And it has been beautiful. And sometimes she'll she'll just walk in here and lay down on the bed. So yesterday she was sleeping in the bed, and I went to go lay back down because I had to get ready for, you know, sleep before work. And I tried to get her to come in the room, and she didn't. So Bob was sleeping on the couch. Moogie was sleeping in here on her bed, and I was sleeping in my bed. We were all in different rooms. And I woke up, and they were still on the couch. He was still on the couch. She was still in here. It was funny. I'm like, geez. For hours we all slept in our own space. So yeah, I got this bed on sale, and I had to get the extra large, and it's perfect for her. She's just like, right now she's like rolling around on it. But yeah, so I figured out how I'm gonna get more time in this craft room. The one thing she won't do in here, though, which is weird, is she won't chew a bone. I'll give her a bone and I'll put it in here, and she'll pick it up and walk it out there and chew it out there, even though I'm in here diamond painting. But yeah, it's funny watching how her personality is changing still on a daily basis. You know, she's getting more lovey. Bob took her to the dog park today, and when they got home, she immediately jumped on the bed. Well, kind of. She also partially jumped on my chest. I was sleeping, and I got trampled. She tried to jump on the bed, and she landed on my chest, and it startled the bejesus out of me. I was like, whoa! And thank God she didn't land on my face. But yeah, she's starting to jump up on the bed if one of us are up there and she wants to join us. And then she lay down for a bit, but then because she jumped on my chest and woke me up, I'm like, okay, I think I'm getting up. So I got up, and then she followed me out. She came out here with me. So, but I'm trying to think if I want to do a full review on this canvas. I kind of told you some things about it. Obviously, you can see it's working up very quickly. And I've been kind of almost procrastinating the completion of this because I'm still not sure what I want to do next. I am like back and forth and back and forth. Part of me is like, I should do a canvas for Valentine's Day because it's going to be February. But then part of me is like, I'm still feeling very winter inspired. So I want to do a winter canvas. And then part of me is like, you know, if I do the winter canvas, I could participate in a ticket to ride, which I don't fully understand. I need to go to the YouTube channel and watch and listen. And then I do know of, guys, I have not been on a no-buy. So obviously I showed you the Cutesy Coverminders. So I think it's kind of what I did last year. Is like I went ham in January and I purchased all this stuff, and then I went on a no-buy and I did really well for the rest of the year. It's like I kind of need to get it out of my system because I haven't bought anything. So yeah, that's, oops. I don't know what my problem is, but I've just been feeling like, you know, buying stuff. I think also it's because I'm like, oh, you're working overtime, like you deserve to treat yourself. The problem is I'm working overtime for a reason, you know. So if I keep spending the money, it's like defeating the purpose. I'm defeating the reason. But anyway, I wanted to tell you guys about what happened. So I was running the dryer, you know, Friday, all day Friday night. I was doing laundry. I did all of our bedding. So I was doing a lot of laundry. And basically the washer and dryer have been going nonstop. And a lot of times, the thing I hate the most about doing laundry is putting clothes away. I don't know why, but that's like the thing I hate the most about washing dishes is putting the dishes away, emptying out the dishwasher. I guess I just, like, I don't know, for some reason the thought of emptying the dishwasher really gets on my nerves. And the thought of putting clothes away really gets on my nerves. And I don't know why. Like, I don't mind the washing of it. I don't mind the drying of it. I don't mind the folding of it. But then, like, to have to put it in a drawer or hang it up in the closet, like, that irks me. It's very bizarre. But anyway, so I was doing the laundry and I was being very good. I was putting it all away as it was coming out. I would take it out of the dryer, I would fold it, and I would put it away immediately. So nothing was hanging around folded on a table or my counter, which is a lot, I'll be honest with you, tends to happen a lot because I'm just being lazy and I don't want to deal with putting the clothes away. But I was doing really well and I was putting everything away and I was just keeping countertops clear and just, like I said, trying to stay organized, my whole purpose of this year. Well, I put all the clothes away, and the next morning, Saturday morning, Bob goes into his drawer to pull, his top drawer has like all his t-shirts, and he pulls a t-shirt out, and it's soaking wet. He's like, what? And I'm like, what's the matter? And he throws it at me. And I mean, it is soaking wet, guys. Like soaking wet. I'm like, what the heck? And then he goes in his drawer to pull another one out, and it's completely wet. And I remember putting those two t-shirts away. I remember folding them, putting them away. And so I'm like, well, they were definitely dry when I put them away. I don't understand. And he's like, that's weird. And he's like feeling like around, and it was just those t-shirts, those two that I put away. I have to redo my wax. And then he's like looking at the top of his dresser. He's like, this is dry. And he's like feeling the top of his dresser. But then he feels this like, this little piggy bank that was made out of cardboard. And he could feel the cardboard was wet. And he's like, oh, wait a minute, this is wet. And he's like, where that? And I said to him, did you have like a cup of water up there that you accidentally dropped? And he's looking at the ceiling. The ceiling looks totally fine. Nothing on the ceiling that we can see. And he's like, no, I didn't have any water up here. And he keeps feeling and feeling. And we're just like so confused, right? So he goes and he gets a stool. And he feels the ceiling and it's wet. And it's, you could even see when he pushes up on it, it's like, it moves, you know, because it had been wet. And long story short, he's like, well, the dryer's vent runs across the ceiling here. So like condensation was getting around the pipe and it was dripping, and those, for some reason, those two shirts mopped it all up. And he said he needs insulation for the pipe, and he went up there and he fixed it. He did something. But before he did that, it, you know, it's been like in the teens, the weather. And he said to me, I said, well, I guess I can't finish the laundry because I still had some stuff. And I said to him, you know, I have been saying that it feels like it takes way too long for the laundry to dry. Like I have to run the cycle too many times. You know, it shouldn't be like that. And I thought what he said was right. So I have been decreasing how much clothes I put in the dryer. But even then, it's still like half a load and I'm still like having to run it more than once. So I'm just like, it's not right. Something's not right. Well, now I know something wasn't right. And I looked it up and I said, are you sure like the vent's not blocked? There's not like all this stuff. But anyway, he went up there, he did something, and then he had me order. That's really big. Some of these rhinestones or crystals are like a little big compared to the others. He had me order insulation for the dryer vent pipe. And we had to fix something else too. Like the hose behind the dryer is so scrunched up and long, so he's replacing that with a smaller one. But anyway, he told me, so I said, I guess I can't finish drying the clothes. And he was like, yes, you can. Yeah, you can finish doing your clothes. That's no problem. And he's like, it's not going to hurt anything. And I was like, really? And he said, yeah. So I started running the dryer, and he went and took the dog out. And I go into the room, and it's dripping again. And now the ceiling is noticeably sagging. I was like, oh my God. So I shut it off. And I'm like, it's like the ceiling is going to cave in, dude. Like, so this is when he went up. He finally went up there and looked at it and he fixed it or whatever. Before that, he had just said it was because it was so cold out. But it's supposed to be fixed now. I don't know. I haven't had to run it again, so I'm kind of scared. I don't want my ceiling to come crashing down in my bedroom. I'm like, that's all we need. Like, seriously. Being a homeowner. Oops. See, this is what I mean. Like, I can't even fix my drills without moving a bunch of them. And I've been rolling the canvas. That has helped. And these big drills, a couple of these crystals are like a little big. There we go. Oh, guys. Okay, so I had to go change out of that fufa. I call it my fufa. It's this thing that my daughter got me. a couple Christmases ago, and it's like basically like a sleeping bag with hood and sleeves. It is so warm, and I started sweating. I mean, I had to get out of that thing, and I'm like rushing out of here to take it off, and I spilled the drills on the floor, so I had to just go pick all these up. I'm done this color. Looks like I needed a little bit in the next square, but not very many. So I picked them all up, and of course I got Moogie hair, a little bit of Moogie hair in this tray. That's it. All right, let's put this away. So anyway, yeah, that was what happened yesterday. I'm just going to give you a quick update on my son. He was diagnosed with walking pneumonia, and they gave him a strong antibiotic, and yeah, he's finally, it's so funny. He was like, Mom, I was really sick, because he had been sick for so long. He's been battling phlegm and congestion and a cough since November. And because it's been so long since he hasn't felt sick, he forgot what it felt like to not feel sick. And so, you know, he's just been feeling crappy for so long that now that he doesn't, he's like, wow, I was really sick. And I get that. Like, I remember, you know, when I was very unhappy and I finally felt happiness for the first time, I didn't realize that I was so unhappy. So you don't even remember what it feels like. And that's like the same thing, but with, you know, not feeling sick. So yeah, he's doing so much better. He sounds so much better. You know, he's, the first day that he didn't cough at all, he was like, I can't believe I've had no coughing fits. It's crazy that he was like that. And it didn't, I mean, luckily he kept going to urgent care and getting antibiotics. It's just they weren't, you know, really doing the deed. So yeah, he sounds so much better. He looks so much better. So he is doing really, really well. So thank you everyone who sent prayers for him. Yeah, he seems to have finally gotten over this thing. And then I did take my stepdad to chemo. That's a long day, guys. I mean, I feel bad for him and my mom. It's a very long day. So I got there. I had to pick him up at 8, and I signed Moogie up for daycare. And we drive right by the daycare, because initially I was going to get up earlier and drop her off and come back and get him, because he lives in my neighborhood. But when I found out what time, you know, because at first I thought I was going to have to pick him up at like 10, and I wasn't going to wait until 10 to take her to daycare. So, but when he said I had to pick him up at 8, I said, okay, well, we'll just drop Moogie off on the way. So, she was so excited to have him in the car, she kept licking him. He was like cracking up. So, anyway, we dropped her off, and we got to the infusion center, and then I checked him in. I don't know, it was weird. We had to check him in twice. So checked him in and then checked him in again at a different station. I'm like, I thought we just did this. And then we had to wait. So I waited with him for a while in the waiting room. They had a puzzle there. And once the guy who was doing it got called, I went over and I started doing it. And then they called him back, and the first part is him just getting his labs done. So they called him back. They drew his labs. And then I had to take him upstairs and we had to wait again to see the doctor. But today, that appointment was with the nurse practitioner, so we had to wait, and then we got called back, and we got to talk to her. And you know, I asked her about the paracentesis when they removed the fluid, because he had it done the day before and he still looked very, very bloated in the abdomen. And I was asking her, like, about, you know, can they remove more? And she said, you know, his pressure's low, so they can't really remove more. So then I asked her about a Plorax catheter, which is a catheter that they can leave in, and then he could actually have bottles sent to him and just remove, you know, a couple liters a day. And she said that they usually do that just for the lung, which I know I had a lady who had it for her ascites when I was doing home care, but I don't know. I know it's more popular for the lung, but I know that they can do it for the abdomen. But I guess they don't do that. I don't know. And then, well, I'm going to see his doctor. So I'm going to ask the doctor about the Plorax catheter. Because if he could manage it on a daily basis, and, you know, that would be less less fluid being removed at one time, so the fluid shifts wouldn't happen and it wouldn't affect his pressure as much, I think he just would be so much more comfortable. I also, he went to the bathroom and I was like, I don't think he's being honest with how much pain he's in. So I had a discussion with her, and he is seeing the pain management doctor. Like when we left, we went and made an appointment. I'm going to be taking him because it's, we took the first available, and it's this Tuesday. My mom will be babysitting, so I'll take him to that. And then, let me think. Then after that appointment was done, we went out, we made all these appointments. She wants him to get another CAT scan, so I have to take him to that too, because the first one they had available was at night. And so I told my mom all the appointments, and I was like, you know, I know that you wouldn't have made this appointment, so I'll take him. So yeah, I'm just going to try to help her out as much as I can. And then I had to wheel him back down to the initial waiting area, and he had to wait again for them to come get him to start the actual chemo infusion. So it was, all that was just the prep to getting the chemo. So when I did that, I wheeled him into the waiting room. He's like, okay, you can go now. They'll come out and get me, and then I'll text you. It's going to be a couple hours. Like, it was already, at that point, it was already almost noon. So that's such a long day. Like, so then I left and I went to the gym right down the street. And so I got a good workout in. And I went to, when I left the gym, I stopped at the CVS on the way because I told him I would pick up an over-the-counter med she said he could take. So I went and I got that. And literally I was like getting into the U-turn to go down to get to the building, and he texted me, he's like, I'm ready. So I said, okay, and I pulled up, and then I stopped. He wanted to get pizza, so I stopped, and he bought me and Bob lunch. He wanted to get pizza to go, so he took pizza home, and he bought me and Bob lunch. And I brought him home, and I didn't get home till like almost 2:30, guys. So 8 o'clock to 2:30, I ate my pizza and I crashed. I took a nap because I was like, oh, Moogie's in daycare. I could diamond paint. I was so tired. I just crashed. And I slept. And then when I woke up, I did a couple things, and then I ran and grabbed her. And she was so tired when she got home. She basically slept the rest of the night. Like, I got her and I fed her, and then my daughter actually came with me, I think. Yeah, my daughter came with me to pick her up. And then when we brought her home, we fed her, and then she just slept the rest of the day. She was so tired. I said, I feel you. But honestly, I would have this thing done if I wasn't scrolling so much and playing my game so much. And I feel like I'm kind of procrastinating because I'm trying to figure out what I want to do next. And I don't like to be without a project, like not have something kitted up. I'm like back and forth. Do I do this project or that project? I have a couple coming, and I was like, maybe I want to do this one. I'm still back and forth between two of them. I'm just so indecisive right now. Normally, I have something calling my name, and I'm like, I'm going to do this. But I don't feel that right now. So I'm just so confused. I don't know. Are you guys like over the winter stuff? Or like, what are you looking forward to seeing in February? Are you looking forward to seeing more like Valentine's Day stuff? I mean, I don't know. I'm just curious. I'm probably not going to base my decision off of your answers, because by the time I do all this, this is going to be done. And I'm going to need to make a choice, because I can't be without a project that long. Like, I try not to be without a project even over the course of a whole day. That would drive me crazy. But I'm just curious, like, are you guys more interested in seeing like Valentine's and love stuff, or are you more interested in seeing still winter stuff? Are you still feeling the winter? I mean, I've said this before, I don't really watch the news, so I'm kind of out of the loop. And the only kind of social media that I really look at anymore is diamond painted related. So I don't get all the goings-ons in the world. And but I did see this one short, like that's my news, like just shorts, because I'm scrolling and wasting my life away. And I saw this one short, and it was like in Florida, and they had snow, and they were saying, I don't know if it was a state of emergency, but they were saying like, don't leave your home unless you really have to. And they go up to this guy, he's like chilling, he's got this like fur hooded coat, and he's drinking a cup of coffee, no gloves, and they're like, so what brought you out here, you know, in this weather when, you know, they're warning people not to come out? And he's like, I'm from New York, this is nothing. I'm like, amen. But like, I could understand having weather that you're not accustomed to and or prepared for. Yeah, I could see how that would wreck like all the ways the state operates, for sure. So, ooh, we're done this square. So pretty. No! I keep doing this. I think I'm just tired. Oh my goodness. Why is this happening? Ugh. Where is the drills? They're in the fur of my blanket. Guys, I'm getting too comfortable. So let me clean this mess up before we can move on to the next. This isn't going to take long. That is not going to take long at all. I got a selfie stick. I'm trying to, it's not easy, guys. It's not easy to use. Let me tell you. I thought it would be very, very easy. I actually kept the directions and I'm like, I'm going to have to read these later. It came with a part. I have no idea. I was like rushing. I opened up the box and I wanted to take it on my walk with her because honestly, I thought it would be very self-explanatory, this selfie stick. I thought, you know, but it is not. It is not a very user-friendly selfie stick. Like, how do you take something so simple and make it complicated? I don't understand. Why would a company do that? It came with a piece. I'm like, where does this piece go? It doesn't even look like it goes anywhere. And I just real quick threw it in the bag and I was trying to use it. And it just, I don't know. I really wanted to record more. We are going to finish this. Record more for you guys of Moogie adventures. And like try to have me in it with her in the background and stuff. So I got this selfie stick and it is not very user friendly at all. Which I know just sounds insane. Okay. Yeah, we're going to finish this. Oh, I'm so sorry. That was my foot getting caught on something. The phone wire. Okay. Let's pick a color. I always start with black if there's black in the square. Which there is, and there's a lot of it. So, we saw a fox. We saw a fox on our trail. Actually, he wasn't on the trail. I saw this fox before, and Moogie didn't see it. And I saw him walking, and then he ran into the woods. I clipped her as soon as I saw it because I didn't want her to see it and run. And he ran into the woods. She never saw it. I saw it between trees and stuff. And it was he's so red. He or she. So red. Beautiful red coat. This red little fox. And I was looking for him. And then my daughter happened to call me and she's like, where are you? I said, I'm in the field. And I'm looking for this fox. So I named him Reds. And I thought, I hope I see him again. Although, I was telling her on the phone, as I'm in the field, Moogie's on the leash, and I'm looking around, trying to see if I could see the fox. I'm not going into the trees. I'm just looking into the bush area, like, just from where I'm standing. Like, I'm not going closer or anything. I'm just looking like in the direction that he went to see if I could see him. And I couldn't see him. And I'm telling her, I said, I'm a little scared of foxes. There was this viral video going around of a lady who was in her backyard on the phone. And she had cameras, on her backyard. So she's on the phone in her backyard. And freaking this fox starts trotting up to her, and she has no idea it's coming. Her back's to it. She's on the phone, blah, 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 on her cell phone. And all of a sudden, this fox attacks her. And let me tell you, it was horrible looking. It was vicious. It was like a cat, like scratching her with all 4 paws, and she's trying to get it off of her, and he just keeps lunging back. She throws him, she lunges back on. It was terrifying. And she's screaming. You can hear her in the video screaming. And her husband finally, I think this fox bit her like 40 times or something crazy. And it was in New Jersey. And husband comes out with a baseball bat and the fox takes off. That fox had rabies. Yeah, so that's why it was so brazen as to just walk up and attack her. It was crazy. I could imagine, like, so I'm slightly terrified of foxes after seeing that video. I was like looking, I was low-key keeping my eye out to see if it was coming back out. And low-key just trying to see if I could see a glimpse of it again and maybe get a picture. So I didn't. I came home, I told Bob about it. I said, oh, I saw this really red fox. And he's like, oh, really? Well, then I see him again. And Moogie and I are walking, and we're about to walk into the area that opens up to the drive. It's like a driving range, and it opens up. And we're about to walk into it, and I see through the trees, I see the fox there again. So I quickly clip her on her leash. She has no idea that it's there. And see, whenever we enter a new area, I'm on high alert. I'm looking for other dogs, other people, because, you know, I'm just going to clip her. And she's always looking, like sniffing the ground and smelling all the scents. She's not looking where I'm looking. That's why I always tend to see what before she sees. So I have her on her leash. We walk into the open field, and he immediately, the fox immediately looks up and sees us, and then just proceeds to start sniffing again, like we're not even there. Was completely unbothered, just like, oh, a human and her dog, okay, and just started sniffing again. And I was like, why isn't he scared? And then I'm like, watch. I'm like, I pull my camera out. Now, it was a cloudy, overcast kind of day. And I had dropped my phone in the snow, so the lens was a little dirty. I'm going to play a clip of him, but, you know, you can't see how red he is. You really can't. You can't appreciate his coat in this video. I hope I see him again. I'm kind of sad that his coat didn't come out. But I'll tell you, when I told Bob, oh, I saw the fox again, and he's like, oh, I did too. He saw him as he was driving into the development. He saw him cross the road, and he said to me, he's like, yeah, he was really red. I've never seen a red fox this red. I really haven't. But it's unfortunate because it doesn't come through in this video I'm going to show you. And he's like, I was trying to pull my phone out to take a picture, and he said, I'm just, you know, I just couldn't get all that organized. And I said, well, I got a video of him, but, you know, it's kind of grainy. We were far away, obviously. I didn't try to go up close to him, so then I had to zoom in, and it's just not the best video, but you can make out that he's a fox. He's a cutie pie. And so we're standing there, and Moogie sees him, and so then she's just staring him down, and he's just sniffing away. He could care less that she's there. He's just sniffing. Then he starts sniffing, and he's like following a scent, and it's coming towards us. And of course my anxiety comes back. I'm like, oh my God, is this thing crazy? It's coming towards us, and Moogie's just standing there, staring at him, watching it. And then he gets so close, she like jumps up because now she wants to like go up to him, and that scared him, and then he darted off into the woods. So I'll try to like put together a good video of all of that And yeah, then he went into the woods and he actually started coming back towards us. I don't think I pulled my phone back out, but he actually started coming back towards us in the woods, and Moogie's just like trying to get to him. I'm like, will you just take off? Can't you see this big, large dog is totally triggered by you right now? It was very interesting. But I hope I see him again and I can just get a beautiful photo of him. I'd love to just get a beautiful photo of him. So I'll definitely be keeping an eye out for him. And seems like that's his area. Like that's his place. So we'll see if I run into him again. But I'm going to go ahead and play that video right here. Guys, there's a fox out there. He saw us and he's not running away. I have Moogie clipped right now. Moogie is watching the fox. Look at this fox. I saw him the other day and he was in the... Moogie didn't see him though. He's so cute. He's watching him. Look at Moogie. He doesn't care that we're here. He's kind of coming towards us. It's kind of scary. He's like coming towards us. He's going into the woods. He's going into the woods. No. All right, so I hope that was as cute for you as it was for me. I hope I was able to like mix it up. Oh, where did you go now? And get you a good little compilation of Reds. That's his name. I'm naming him Reds. You ever see Schindler's List? Reds. I heard you're a guy who can get things. Yeah, that was Morgan Freeman's character. But you know, it was funny because Bob and I were driving. Well, I was driving. Bob and I were in the car, and I was driving. And I got behind a student driver, and Bob's like, I don't know what it is, guys, but when Bob's in the car, I would be doing some stupid stuff in the car. And I was trying to park and I ran over the curb and he's like, are you okay? Like, you're starting to scare me. And I was like, I'm starting to scare me. I don't know. And anyway, so I have a tendency to do those kind of stupid things. More of them are just stupid. Like, I'm in a parking lot and I go to turn and he's like, you know, that's the wrong way. And I'm like, it is? Stupid stuff. I don't even know how I do this in front of him. But then I'm fine. I don't do this stuff when I'm on my own. Like, and I know you're thinking, well, maybe you do and you just don't know because no one's pointing it out. But I don't. Okay. And anyway, so we were behind this student driver and Bob's like, that must be a horrible job. Like, he's like, I don't know how anybody does that. And I said, I think you'd be really good at it because I always see you trying to break the imaginary brake on your side. Like, whoever would be in the driver's seat though, they'd be driving, Bob pushing on the brake. No, in his defense, like I have been doing some stupid stuff when he's in the car. But anyway, so I say to him, I was like, did I ever tell you about my driving instructor? So let me tell you about how I learned how to drive, first of all. My dad, one day, so, you know, my parents owned a store, and I was working in the store, and I had just gotten my permit, and it was just me and my dad, and we lived like 40 minutes from the store. It was like a good 40 minutes from the store. And we had to drive, if you might not know what these are, but we had to drive through 2 really bad circles. They're not even there anymore. They took them out. They were so bad. And yeah, on like a highway. And so I was with my dad. We locked up the store, and we're walking towards the car, and he's like, you got your permit? And I said, yeah. And he's like, all right. And he throws me the keys. He's like, you're driving. And I was like, what? I had never been behind the wheel before in my life yet. I was just like, I don't know how to drive, Dad. And he's like, I'm going to teach you. This is how you learn. And I was like, okay. Good morning. It's actually afternoon, but it's my morning because, you know, night shifter here. I actually had to shut it down right then because I started to get a headache. And I had to go back to work, so I shut it down real quick, and I went and laid down and I slept more. And well, I took some Tylenol, and I had the headache like on and off basically all night. And when I got home from work this morning, it's now Monday morning. When I got home from work this morning, I went ahead and I took one of my migraine pills, and I finally feel better, thank gosh. I don't know. I think part of it might be that I got, so, you know, I don't know where you're at in this world, but where I'm at, we're starting to see an influx of influenza A or flu. We're starting to see an influx of COVID and a lot of RSV. We're even starting to see some H1N1 swine flu. So yeah, all those good things are coming back. Woohoo, yay, yay. So anyway, because of the season, my job released, you know, a statement saying that in patient care areas, we're now mandated to wear a mask again, which is fine. But guys, I swear the masks, okay, hear me out. I think I said this before on a WIP and Chat, but I believe the mask like increases the fold and the crease from your nose to your lip because it's pulling on your ears. And like, you know, you pull it down under your chin. You're constantly tugging, pulling on your ears, pulling. And I mean, where do they give you a facelift? If they give you a facelift behind your ears, right? They pull back the skin there. And you're pulling on that skin constantly, tugging at your mask. And so I really feel like it increases the folds, the deepness of the folds there. So I don't want the mask loops on my ears. And I knew this lady who, she doesn't work bedside nursing anymore, and I don't blame her. But she would buy these mask holders in the back, but they were really honestly very because I throw my masks out quite a bit, and every time you would have to unattach it and then reattach a new one. It just was very inconvenient. So there's this girl at my job who had headbands with buttons on them. So I was like, I'm going to buy some headbands and put buttons on them. And I was always the type of person that I don't have a lot of success with headbands because the back of my head is kind of flat, and you know, so a lot of times I would try to wear headbands and they would just flip right off of my head. So I didn't know how it would go, but I figured, oh, the mask will hold it in place, if anything, right? So I was going to buy like wide headbands to sew buttons on. But then I found these. I got this 4-pack on Amazon that have buttons already sewn in right where you need them. And it was not a bad price for 4 of them, and it was wide like I wanted. So I've been wearing these to work, and they actually stay on my head. I'm like shocked. They stay on my head, and I can pull the mask down. I love it. And I'm not putting that pressure on my ears now, but I'm not used to wearing a headband, and I think it's causing headaches, like having this thing, you know, just like when you first start wearing, if you've never had long hair, you might not know, but sometimes if you're not used to wearing a ponytail, when you start wearing the ponytail, the weight of your hair will start to give you a headache. And then once you get used to it, you could wear a ponytail for days and you'd be fine. Or, you know, a flip-flop, when you first start wearing your flip-flops and your in between your toes hurt, and then once you get used to it, it's just like that. So I think I've been suffering from, because honestly, they started Saturday, and that's the day that I started wearing these. They came in on Saturday, and I went to work Saturday night, and so I started having headaches. And then I had to go back to work. So, yeah, I think that's what was the culprit. And I wore it all night last night. And I can't believe they actually stay on my head. Even when I don't have a mask on, these don't slip off. So I really, really like them. And I'm thinking about getting another pack. Because, you know, once I wear one, it's dirty. Like, I have to put it in the dirty laundry and wash it at work. So I'd like to wear them during the week a little bit, just so I get more used to it and I'm not suffering from headaches on the weekends. But anyway, let me get back to my story. The first time I ever drove. Yeah. So my dad, you know, tosses me the keys. He tells me, "You're driving." I'm like, what? I've never driven before. I've never been behind the wheel. I was terrified. And my dad had a little bit of a temper, so I was also nervous about driving with him. I wasn't like too crazy about the idea, but he was actually really, really good. He really was. He was really cool and calm, and so I get behind the wheel, and he tells me, we'll go the back route. Okay, so like, let's say this is my store, okay? And this main street here this street here was the main strip. It was a highway, you know, 4-lane highway. And then we were on a crossroad, which was just a small street. He wanted me to go this way, and then he was going to take me like back and around and then come out like that. So I was like, fine. He wanted me to get behind the wheel, get a little used to before I was like driving on a highway. I was like, okay, cool. I didn't really know the way back there because I never really drove back there, and they didn't really take that route. So he had to also give me directions, which doesn't sound like a bad thing, except if you've never driven before, you know, you're trying to like follow directions and left and right and all this stuff. But the funny thing is so we get behind the wheel. I get behind the wheel. He gets in the car. I start driving. I take off onto the back road. And I'm driving, and I'm coming up to a curve in the road. But again, I've never driven before. So I'm driving, like I'm going like 35 miles an hour. and I'm not braking. And the curve in the road had, it was like curved, and it had these, like, they were arrows, but I didn't know they were arrows. Because I didn't drive. But the sign had these on it. So they were yellow signs with black mark like this. There was no line here, right? It was just this. And it was one after the other along the curve. And, you know, I'm driving and I'm not slowing down. And I totally end up in the other lane as I'm like, my dad is like, slow down, slow down. And he's like, what do you think those signs mean? And I was like, I have no idea. He's like, it means it's a strong turn, and you gotta slow down. I was like, oh, okay. And I like corrected the car and got back in the lane. Thank God nothing was coming. Like, I had no idea what I was doing, guys. And that's how it started. Like, literally, we weren't on the road for very long when I did that. It was like just right up the road. And you would have thought he would have been like, get out, I'm driving. No, he stuck it out and he got me all the way home. I even went through the circle. I didn't do bad. I have to say I didn't do bad, considering it was a very long drive. It was at night. He took me for my first drive at night, and this back road was like in the sticks, like trees everywhere. It wasn't very well lit. I'm thinking about it, and the more I'm thinking about it, I'm like, what was he thinking? It wasn't even during the day, like. But we made it home. I did well, and then I was hooked. Okay, then I wanted to drive everywhere. So then it was like every time, you know, I had to take my dad back to the store the next morning. I'm like, can I drive? So then I was driving all the time, and I was driving like I was driving everywhere, and I got very comfortable with driving. So fast forward to a couple months later, and my parents finally pay for driving lessons. Now, I didn't need driving lessons at this point. Well, I did, and I'll explain why. But I needed driving lessons to teach me how to drive to pass the driving test, because I drove, like, I've been driving like 20 years, and I didn't follow any of those rules, and I didn't even know it. So, and the main reason why they signed me up for this wasn't so that I could pass my test, because I don't even know if they knew this part of it, but they signed me up because if you got a break on your insurance when you went to cover a teenager, and it's still like that. You get a break on your insurance if you get a new driver driving lessons. So they paid, you know, whatever it was, the $100 for the driving lessons to get, you know, a % off the insurance for, you know, the rest of my life or whatever, until I was no longer considered a new driver. So anyway, it was so funny. The driving instructor pulls up to my house to pick me up, and it was after school. And I get in the car, and he was like, you know, hi. And so the first thing he asked me is, have you ever driven before? And I was like, oh yeah. He's like, are you comfortable with driving? I'm like, yep. And he's like, all right, show me what you got. It was a young black guy. He was so cool. And he's like, show me what you got. And I was like, okay. And I start driving. I'm driving with like 2 fingers. And Bob's always telling me this, like, not 2 fingers then, but like I'm driving with my hands down here. I'm like turning the wheel with one hand, like, you know, and he's like, okay, you got some moves. I see you. And I'm like, I start laughing, and he's like, but you're going to fail your test. And I was like, what? And he's like, 10 and 2, 10 and 2. I'm like, 10 and 2 what? And he's like, that's where your hands need to be on the steering wheel. So then he puts my hands where they have to be, and he's like, all right. He's like, you don't need me to teach you how to drive. You clearly know how to do that. He's like, I'm going to teach you how to pass this test because you are going to fail miserably. I was like, okay. And so he starts showing me, like, you know, you have to. He's like, 10 and 2 all the time. Keep both hands on the steering wheel. Never want to see you drop one of your hands. He's like, he said, you know, when you go to turn this way, you reach up. Or when you go to turn this way, you turn, and then you cross over. He's like, when you turn this way, you turn, you cross over. And I was like, oh, okay. You know, he told me all the things I needed to know. I would not have passed my test. So then I started to have to practice like that with him. And he's like, I just want you to drive like that when you're not with me until you pass your test. And then you can do whatever you want. He's like, so, you know, first day we go around, we're driving, and he's like, chill. He was like, this is the easiest day I've had. And, you know, we're just driving. And so then the second time I went to see him, he came to pick me up. We're driving around, and after, I don't know, 20 minutes, he's like, are you hungry? And I was like, I mean, I could eat. He's like, I'm going to treat you to McDonald's. He's like, pull in this drive-thru. So we pulled the drive-thru. We each order food, and we sat in the car eating. He's like, you're good. You don't eat. He's like, you're going to pass this test, no problem. And so we ate our McDonald's. And then the third time he came to pick me up, my boyfriend at the time from high school was over my house. And I came out to the car, and I was like, hey, do you mind if my boyfriend comes? Because he's here. I forgot I had these lessons. And, you know, he's here at my house. He came home with me on the bus. And so he's like, sure, why not? So then my high school boyfriend came in the car, and he drove us around. I drove us around. Yeah, that guy was so cool. He was like really chill. And yeah, I had no problem. Passed my test, got my driver's license, and the rest is history. But Bob was telling me how we were talking about the driving ed class, like, you know, this classroom instruction part of it. You know, you have that in school. And he's like, yeah, I'll never forget. They showed us I like to use, I don't know what I did with my large bell art tray. I don't see it here. He's like, they showed us a video of all these car accidents. It was called Paint the Road Red. I was like, oh my gosh. Like, and then we started talking. He was like, it was horrible. And I remember seeing, you know, they showed us a video too. And I think that it is good because it certainly is a deterrent. It does, I don't know. That kind of stuff worked for me. It really did. It that kind of like those scare tactics worked for me. You know, so I think, yeah, obviously it doesn't work for every teenager because there are teenagers that go out there and drive recklessly, but it does work for, I think, if it works for any teenagers, then I think it's worth it. But I do remember it was like pretty graphic, pretty horrific. And yeah, it gave me a lot of like phobias. But anyway, so then we were talking about the crazy stuff, like these kind of crazy videos they show you in class, and you're just a kid, you know. And I said, I remember, and I was in high school. I think I was a freshman in high school, and our religion teacher showed us a video, and obviously it made an impact because I think about it. I do think about it frequently, given the fact that it was shown to me when I was a freshman in high school. and I'm still talking about it to this day. But I remember it was about choices, like how we all have our decisions to make, and like, what do you base your choices on? What do you base your decisions on? You know, and I went to Catholic school, so this is, you know, in religion class. And yeah, this was so traumatizing, this video. So basically it was a video, and the main character was a guy. So it was a family that lived in a very remote area. I was telling this to Bob. We're in the car. We just got done talking about driving ed and all that. And he tells me about Paint the Road Red. And I start telling him about this story. And I'm like, yeah, so this family lived very remote. And they lived in a cottage on a farm in a very remote area. And the only job that the guy had was he was in charge of every day when the train came, he had to walk, I don't know, a very long way from his home to the train tracks. And he had to hold the track so that the train would divert and not like crash into something. And so he had to hold this lever, and the lever moved the train onto the track, and the train would pass by, and then he could let go. And that was his job. So like every day he had to walk this long walk and go and wait for the train to come. And when he saw the train, he would grab the lever, hold it down, and then when the train passed, he would let it go and he would walk home. And yeah, there's like flaws in this story, right? So Bob's like, well, that doesn't make sense. Why couldn't they just keep the track? Like, I'm like, I don't know, because then we wouldn't have this story for religion class. like all the flaws start coming out. And I'm like, yeah, it doesn't make sense, does it? But anyway, so that was the story. Well, it was a husband, a wife, and they had a little boy. He had a son. And so the one day he says goodbye to his wife, and he starts heading to go do his job. And he's walking, and it's a beautiful walk. There's like flowers and mountains, and you know, he's just like walking along. And his son, his toddler son, I don't know, like old enough to walk but very little, is like hobbling behind him. And that was another thing. We're like, how did this kid keep up? So, but he did in this video. This, like, I don't know, 3-year-old was able to keep up with this grown man walking, and he had no idea that this kid was behind him, following him all the way to the train track. And so the guy gets to the train track, and he goes to do his job, and he goes to hold down the track. And as he's holding down the track and he sees the train coming, the train's like honking the horn. And he's like, what is he honking the horn at? And so he turns around and he sees his son walking on the track. And he's like screaming, like telling his son, get off, like, and so that now he's, of course, you know, we pause, and the teacher's like, what do you do? Do you let go of the lever and run over and save your son and let everyone on the train die? Because I think they would like go off the cliff or something, you know. Or do you do your job and, you know, save all the lives of these people? And we're just like, I mean, what a horrible story. We're in high school. We're just like, Bob's like, oh my God, this is terrible. We're like looking at each other. I'm like, I mean, how do you even answer that? I don't even know. I don't know how to answer that. You know, I feel like it's just horrible. Anyway, but yeah, so I was telling him, because he was telling me about Paint the Road Red. I was like, you think that's bad? I remember them showing me this in religion class, and he's just like, so of course we start breaking the story down, and we're like, well, there's no way that kid would have kept up. And then Bob's like, sounds like it's the mom's fault. And I was like, what? Like, in the video, I'll never forget, she was outside hanging laundry, and I don't know if they thought the son was sleeping. I don't know, but the mom didn't know that the son obviously took off, and I don't remember if the mom eventually realized and she was like running towards them. Like that I don't remember, because the traumatic part of it was, you know, the dad having to make the decision. And I'll tell you, do you guys want to know what he decided to do? Of course you do. So he decided to actually do his job, and he like was holding the you know, the rail, the lever, and he was crying because he knew that his son was going to get hit by this train. And he was just like bawling his eyes out holding the lever, and it was just horrible. Yeah, it was a horrible, horrible video, and I'll never forget it. But I'm like, geez, they show us some crazy stuff. And I think about that video all the time. I'm just like, I like, how do you even sit there? And I just don't even know. I just don't even know. But anyway, obviously it was very impactful. I also remember growing up, and this is why I say like these scare tactics are like, they work for me, because I'll never forget. I don't know if I was talking about this, but I remember one day I was watching TV, and I was like, I guess I was flicking through the channels trying to find something to watch, and all of a sudden there was like the shape of America, and it was painted in, I might have told this story, and it was painted in the American flag, and it was like drugs across America, and like this black cloud went over America and over the flag, like it was the shape of America. And forgive me, I don't even know that, like, the shape of America. I'm not gonna show that. It was the shape of America, okay? Like, let's say this is America, and so it had like stars here, right? And then like stripes over the shape of America, and then this black cloud just goes over America, and it's like drugs across America. And I was like, what's this about? I was so little. I'm like, what is this about? And I start watching it. Well, I was horrified. And it was talking about how, you know, rampant drugs were in America, and it was showing people that were addicted to drugs. And I'll just never forget, they were interviewing this girl who was like addicted to cocaine, and she had no septum, the divider in your nose, and she hung a hanger in her nose, guys. I was like, if you guys remember seeing, and I'm like this little kid, and I was like horrified. She's got this hanger, a clothes hanger hanging out of her nose, and I'm just like, like thinking, why would you do that to yourself? I was so horrified and upset. And then they were showing how they make cocaine. They actually went to wherever they make it, and they were, you know, had the cocoa leaves like in a huge bucket, and they were pouring gasoline on the leaves, and they had these guys with dirty bare feet, and they were like stomping. It was kind of like, you guys know the I Love Lucy about how they make wine, you know, the famous it's the famous scene of I Love Lucy making wine, and she's stomping on the grape leaves barefoot. And it was used in Pretty Woman. I know we all know that scene where Julia Roberts was watching it and laughing. I'm sorry. They were doing that with cocoa leaves and like gasoline or kerosene or something. I guess like that's what brings out. I don't even know, guys. I just remember that's what they were saying, and they were like, and they develop these sores on their feet, and they stomp on this, and you're putting this in your butt, and I was just so. I was like, I'll never do drugs. That's how I was like, oh my god. And yeah, it was for me a total deterrent. Like, why would you ever want to put somebody's sturdy feet with sores, stuff that up your nose so you can hang a hanger from your nose? Like, I'll never forget that. But yeah, the videos that they showed us as kids, crazy. That was on the news. But I could see them showing us that video in school. Totally. I mean, and I'm not saying that it's a bad idea. Like, whatever it takes. If it keeps 100 kids from doing drugs, I think it's worth it. I used to say all the time, as I got patients that were brain dead or this or that, like, it would be great if kids could see what people go through, as a result of drugs in the hospital. That would be a huge deterrent. But yeah, that was funny. So I don't even know how I got onto all that. That's how I started driving. But that's how I started driving. Yeah, my dad. So when my kids started driving, I actually had them take lessons first. I did it the opposite way. And mostly because I had a huge SUV, guys, when they both were learning how to drive. I had a Durango, a Dodge Durango, and that was like, it was big for me. It felt like I was driving like a little minibus. And I got it just in time for my kids to not need it. Like, when my kids were younger, I always thought to myself, I want an SUV with 3 rows. I want an SUV with 3 rows, because I would be carting their friends around all over the place. I would take their friends. I mean, I remember taking, going on, I would do trips with 4 kids, just me by myself and 4 kids, go on like a trip and spend the night somewhere. I was crazy. And I remember one time I took the kids to Hershey, which is like, I don't know, 2 to 3 hours away from me. And it was during the wintertime, because someone had told me at work that Hershey Park, where they make the chocolate and stuff in Hershey, PA, in the wintertime is so much fun. They have you go to the park, you have the rides, and then they have apple cider outside and hot chocolate, and it's all dressed up for Christmas and stuff. And so when she told me that, I went ahead and I planned a trip. I booked a hotel up there, and my kids and their 2 friends and I drove us up there. And I remember stopping at a rest stop to buy them all lunch. And we're in there eating lunch, and I'm there with 4 kids, and honestly, I know I look like I was like in my 20s with these 4 kids. Like, people were looking at me like, what the heck? It was so funny. And I'm like thinking to myself, am I crazy for doing this? And I actually got lost. I called my brother on this highway. All the kids were passed out in the car. And this is before we had like GPS and stuff. And I was freaking out on the phone with him. And I don't know how, but he figured out where I was. And he was telling me like where to go. My brother is like really intelligent. And he was like, I know exactly where you are. And I was like, I'm thinking, how do you know that? I never found out. I should ask him. But he was like, okay, you want to take the next exit and this and that. And I was just like, and he's yelling at me like, what the heck were you thinking, taking these kids by yourself? And da, da, da. And I was like, okay, I'll never do it again, but can you get me home, please? I was like so scared. And it was nighttime. It was raining out. I remember it was raining out. Yeah. But we ended up having a great time. And I did take them out again. But I took them to the Philadelphia Zoo. Oh, we had such a great time. And the one kid he picked out, I bought them all a gift. And he picked out a stuffed orangutan. And they lived in our neighborhood. They lived right in the apartments right across the street from us. And it was so cute seeing him like run out of his house holding his orangutan. It was so funny. My kids were at this time, how old were they? Like 8 and 9, and my neighbor's kids that let me take their kids, they were also like 8 and 9. So, or maybe they were like, I think the one kid was younger than my kids. And the one kid was a little older. So it was like 1 year. So it was like 6, 7, 8, and 9. Or 6, or 7, 8, 9, and 10 that I was taking these kids out. But we had a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. It was honestly one of the best. This is when I was like first separated. I wasn't even divorced yet, and I got an apartment, and I loved living in the apartment. My kids loved it. It was a great time, and I would take them everywhere, like all the places that I didn't go when I was married with my kids, and we just had we made so many memories during that time. And I was always planning something because I finally had money. Like I was a new nurse, and I was able to kind of shower them. And it was a great time. And I loved living in the apartment because if anything broke, I just called maintenance. I honestly really loved living in an apartment. I was just telling this to my girlfriend because she's telling me how her one friend lives in an apartment, and I'm like, I loved it. I loved it. You know, if I didn't have to worry about having some kind of investment, I could totally live in an apartment and, you know, just be like, oh, I would call him for everything. It was such a fun time. And I just remember eating breakfast out on my patio a lot. Also, I think, you know, like I was pretty unhappy in my first marriage. So like getting away from that, I just brought me a lot of peace as well. I mean, I was dealing with a divorce, and that wasn't fun or peaceful at all. But even through all of that, I still had some peace, which I think says a lot, you know. And I just thoroughly enjoyed my time there with my kids. yeah, I think back to that time, and it just brings me so much joy. I remember when we went to, I remember when we went to the Philadelphia Zoo. I took those two boys with me again. It was the four of us. I took them everywhere. And we got to see them. They had like a sled dog demonstration. That was really cool. And I remember us just having such a great time. We went to the beach a lot. We did a lot of things. I took them on our first like family vacation with my mom. And yeah, it was a great time in my life. So I could totally see how renting brings you some kind of freedom. You know, you're not worried about the structure. Like my ceiling coming down in my bedroom from the dryer vent. I would just call maintenance. The maintenance guy's name was Tony. I'd just be like, Tony. I'd just be like, Tony, my ceiling's coming down. And they would come and fix it. Oops. But no, now I have to worry about that. And I have to pay for it. Like, it's not a bad deal having all that included in your rent, to be honest with you. All right, we are moving right along. So, I mentioned briefly about, and honestly, actually, by the time you guys see this, I will have the announcement already posted. I'm going to post that first, about the mini diamond painting event that I'm co-hosting with Debbie. So this is an event that she came up with last year, and she hosted it by herself, and she just asked me if I wanted to co-host it with her. She's got a lot going on, and you know, events can be a lot of work, so she asked if I wanted to help out, and I said sure. And given that I've been working a lot of overtime, like we've both been very busy, but I made up some, hopefully all of this is coming out soon. I've been kind of on hold on releasing a video because I've been waiting for the actual mini set that I'm going to be using. And you'll hopefully have seen the video about that. This is, I don't know. Every time I say, maybe I'll do more events, and then I don't know if I'm an event person. I don't know. I think if I did this full time, like I was retired, I probably would be doing a lot of events. I would have more time to network and stuff. You know, I'm pretty bad about networking. I'm a shy person, and I always feel like, oh, I don't want to ask for things because like everyone's asking for things. I don't know. It's definitely something I think that holds me back from growing. And if I probably got it analyzed, it would have something to do with like, I would think that it would have something to do with like your worth. Like, oh, why would they want to, I don't want them to waste their money on me. I don't want them to waste their product. It's very bizarre. I don't know I don't know why I always think or feel that way. Like, I was trying to explain to my daughter why I don't want her buying me gifts. I'm like, well, you work so hard for your money. I want you to spend your money on you. And she's like, yeah, but I do spend my money on me. And then, you know, I put money aside to buy you stuff. You know, you a gift or you a Mother's Day gift. Like, and that makes me happy. And I always feel like, but I don't want you, like, I said to her, well, I start thinking like, oh, you know, if this was, like, how many hours did she have to work to buy this for me? Isn't that weird? Like, I don't want her to have to go to work for X amount of hours. Like, I mean, I feel like, I don't know if there's something in my childhood that did that to me, because I don't feel like that's normal. And I feel like, I don't know what it is, because no one should feel that way, because then it would be like, oh, well, you know, how long did you have to work to pay this mortgage? And I live here. Like, I wouldn't want her to feel that way. It's weird. It's very weird. I know. And I think it affects, like, me reaching out to companies and stuff. Like, I feel like it definitely affects my growth. You know, it would affect my growth as a business person if I were to even try to do that. Like, it's definitely, because, like, good business people, they're like, you want to invest in me. I'm worth it. Like, you know, that's a good business person. Like, it's worth investing in me, because, you know, I'm gonna go here and go there. But I don't know. I guess I should do some soul searching. I was talking to this girl, and I said, because we were talking about my position, and she was asking me about it, and I said, you know, I work every weekend, and you know, I said, it sounds, you know, I work 24 hours but get paid for 36. So she's like, wow. And I said, you know, it sounds really glamorous. I said, however, number one, you have to work all 12 hours. You can't even work like 11 hours. You can't have someone come in an hour early for you because you have to go somewhere. Like, or like the one time I had the bridal shower and I worked, and then I slept 3 hours, got up, went to the bridal shower, came home, and I had to go back to work that night. Like, you know, if I didn't have to work all 12 hours, I could have asked someone, hey, can you stay an hour late for me so I can get a little sleep? Like, people do that all the time. Or, hey, can you come in an hour early for me so I can go home? Or, you know, whatever. I can't do that, because then I don't get my benefit. I don't get that 6. So I have to work 12 hours on Saturday, and then they give me an extra 6 free hours. And then I have to work 12 hours on Sunday, and they give me an extra 6 free hours. Now, if I don't work the 12 hours, I don't get the free 6 hours. So, you know, when there's low census and they're calling around, like, do you want the first 4 hours off? People are like, yes, you know, and they get to stay home, and then they just use their PTO, their paid vacation hours, to supplement their 4 hours. I can't even do that because I don't collect PTO. See, I collect something else, and I can't use those hours for that. I can only use those hours to take days off. So it's a lot. Like, it's a lot of different things. You know, so I can never have, like, I can never get canceled. I can take a cancel, but then I lose 18 hours, not just 12. You know, I lose 18 hours because I can't supplement it like they can. I don't get, so I have to work every weekend. That's the point. That's why they're giving me this benefit. You know, where some people like will work, they'll take cancel so often they'll only work like 4 shifts a month. You know, I could never do that. So there's definite benefits to it, but also like it's funny because people only look at the like what you get, and I'm like, okay, but you literally don't even want to work your every third weekend, let alone every weekend. Like you do realize that, you know, I'm still here every single weekend. Like you don't want to do that. So why are you even looking at my benefit? It's strange how people think. I remember when I was younger and people had my position at my other hospital, and it never sounded good to me because I was younger and I did things on the weekends, and I was like, you can have it. You know, I never envied them. I never thought, oh, you get free 12 hours. I was like, dude, you couldn't give me enough free hours. I didn't want to do that. You know, I was like, that stinks. Like, that sounds horrible. But I think people are always looking at, you know, what you're getting and not what you're giving up. So I find that interesting. I also, in my position, don't accrue EST, so extended sick leave. So if something happened to me, I can't supplement my check. I only get what, you know, disability benefit I get from the state. So there's a lot of things that I do sacrifice to have this position, you know. And that being said, I love it. I was telling her, you know, I'm never going to be the person that like is like, oh, you didn't invite me. I'm not that kind of person. Like, if you don't invite me, that's fine. I probably wouldn't have gone anyway, but you know, I'd be like, oh, that's great. Maybe I'll see your pictures online. I don't, you know, have fun at your event. And now it's like, oh, so sorry, can't go work. I work every weekend. So sorry. But I think I'm like, in that sense, kind of antisocial. And I really feel like I could live like very remote and off grid. I feel like I could do that. It's hard to say though, because I am surrounded by people. So I don't think it's very fair to say I could live off grid. I feel like I could, like when I see the videos, it looks beautiful, it looks fun. And I feel like I could go for days without seeing people. Well, it's so weird. I was just talking about this to someone at work. I'm like, as I get older, I find myself becoming more and more like my mom. And when I was younger, I used to say to my mom, like, don't you like anything? Don't you want to, because, you know, I used to go out. I used to go clubbing every night. I was a social butterfly. I was so different than what I am today. And I used to want to go places and see things and be in the middle of everything. And, you know, and now I'm the exact opposite. And I know it makes me sound boring, but I'm okay with that, which is just like my mom. You know, I used to say to her, don't you want to go out and don't you want to do it? And she's like, no. And I'm just like, that's weird. Like, you don't want to see places? You don't, doesn't anything interest you? I would say, doesn't anything interest you? And she'd say, you know, I like to be home. And now I'm just like my mom. It is so weird. I'm thinking, my grandmom had agoraphobia. I don't have agoraphobia. Like, I like to go to the gym. When I go out, I like it. But, like, in general, I do like, if I could stay home and not have anything to do for days, I enjoy that. Which some people, my daughter is very much like me when I was her age. She's always out and about. She's on the run. I remember my car was a mess because it looked like I lived out of it. Just from like all the different places I was going. I had shoes in there. I had clothes in there. I was like a vagabond. I was on the run. I was, you know, always going from this party to that party to this club to that club to this bar to that bar with this group and that group. And now I couldn't even imagine. Now I'm like, I say to Bob, you want to go out to eat? Well, he doesn't want to go. He never wants to go out to eat because he's afraid of having like pains in the restaurant, because a lot of times after he eats, he has a lot of pain. So he doesn't, he'll tell me, well, we can go, but I'm not going to eat. I'm not going to sit there with you while you don't eat. So we never go out to eat. But sometimes, every once in a while, he'll say to me, like on my birthday, do you want to go to dinner? And I know he's not going to eat with me. I'm just like, can we just get takeout? Like, but that's not even why. It's not because I know he's not going to eat with me. It's just because I just don't want to go out. I'm like, I don't feel like getting dressed up and having to do my hair and my makeup. And it's also why I like these kind of videos. It's becoming popular to like sit in front of the camera now. And I'm like, oh, that just sounds like a lot of work. I gotta comb my hair. But I'm trying, guys. I'm trying. I honestly, when I saw diamond painting YouTube, I was like, I could do that, because I don't have to be in front of the camera. I'm like, oh, that sounds great. I wanted to record a like fitness journey, but the idea of always having to like do my hair and do my makeup, and it was just, the fitness journeys are a lot of work to record. I don't know if you've ever followed someone on a fitness journey, but, you know, they have to take you everywhere, like a day in the life and a full day of eating, and always pull the camera out. I guess it's kind of like a vlog, which, you know, in the beginning of this video, this video, I was going to show you an adventure, and I just showed you Moogie hanging out of the car, because that was going to be the start of it. But it's so hard to record everything, and I don't understand that selfie stick. I know that sounds crazy, but it's not very sturdy, and I gotta find another one. But anyway, yeah, it's just a lot of work. So, but how cute is she hanging out the window? She is strapped, just so you know. She does have a seatbelt on. I always seatbelt her in the back. And she loves, we were in my neighborhood when I recorded that. I just had my like phone on a selfie stick hanging out the window, praying that it wouldn't fall out. She loves to stick her head out, and as she got older, she could tolerate more and more of the wind. You know, when she was younger, she could only tolerate like me going 20 miles an hour, and then 30 miles an hour. Now she can tolerate up to like 50 miles an hour, but you know, she won't keep her head out there very long, especially depending on how hot it is. So, but she loves, as soon as she gets in the car and I get in the car and I strap in, she's at the window waiting for me to roll it down for her. And then once she gets enough, she'll just lay down and I'll roll them up. And then when I stop at a light, she'll stand back up and want me to roll it down. And we play that game until we get wherever we're going. Up and down and up and down. But yeah, I thought she looked so beautiful. That's the first time I've actually been able to watch her. And at some point, you see her like looking up in the sky. She loves to watch birds. She loves to look up and watch the birds. It's like she's always looking for birds. So that's what she was doing. Like you can even see in the video a lot of the birds flying overhead, and she was just watching them. And I think she's just like always thinking, where are they going? We are almost done this canvas. This was my third finish, but you know, the first canvas that I finished in January was already halfway done. Like I had started it last year. So it's not my third full finish for January, but still not too shabby. And we still have some days. I have a lot of videos to make, guys. A lot of stuff. Right after this, I have to make my event video. CD. All right, my last color. And then I will pull you up close so you can really see. I think I need to change the wax in this because it's not, the wax changes so fast. You know, you just scoop out the old and then boom. That's it. Now it'll be a lot easier to diamond paint this rest of the little bit. I was really impressed with using the wax on this kit, to be honest with you. And I used to use these thin placers, actually, because Staroar sells packs of these placers, and they're really nice. And I used to solely use these thin multi-placers. The reason why I got away from it is because the drills, I'm a hard presser, and they would start making notches in it, and it just they would wear down. And so the metal multi-placers don't wear down. But after using it on this, I could totally use these like one per painting and just toss it, which is probably how they're supposed to be used anyway. That's why you get a new one with every new painting. I have so many of these now that I don't even use them, but maybe with my rounds I'll use them. I don't know. But when you have rounds that seem a little bigger, the metal placers are hard to pick them up, I feel like. So this did really well. So yesterday when I got home from work, Bob had just put Moogie's bowl down, and she had her face in the bowl, and I walk into the house, and she looks up, and she sees me, and her little nub is like wagging, and I'm like, Moogie, mommy's home. And she's like looking at me, and her tail's wagging, and I get up to her, and I start petting her and like kissing her, and she does not care if she's eating. You can hang on her. She's so good. And she just started eating again, and I was like, chicken more important than mommy? And I look at Bob, and I was like, chicken's more important than mommy. And he's like, I love you more than chicken. And he gives me a big hug, and he's like hugging me, and all I see is her head go whoop, and she's like looking at him hug me, and she comes over and she pushes him over and pushes him away from me and gets in between us, and then she jumps on her paws and she pushes him on his leg like out of the way, and he stumbles back, and he's like, she just pushed me. And then she goes over and she leans all her weight on my legs and like puts her head up towards me to like pet me, mommy, pet me. So I start petting her and hugging her, and she's just like so like looking at me like, I missed you. And you know, I was petting her for a little bit, and then I was like, go ahead, go finish your breakfast. And she walks over and she starts eating again. But it was so funny. She like pushed him out of the way. And so again today I come in and she's eating, and the same thing. She sees me, I come over to her, I give her a bunch of lovin's, and she keeps eating, and she's just like, and Bob's like, she's hungry. And I said, well, come over and love mommy more than chicken. And so he comes over and he gives me a hug, and she immediately runs over, and she's like shoves in between us. She didn't push him with her paws this time, but she like shoves in between us and starts you know, leaning against me and like rubbing her head on my leg to like telling me to pet her. I was like, yeah, you love me more than chicken. She's so cute. Then yesterday she followed me into the bathroom because I always take a shower when I get home from work, and she's like shoving the shower curtain over so she can see inside the bathtub. And I was like, all those videos of, you know, so you own a Rottweiler, say goodbye to your personal space. And I used to think, she doesn't do that. She doesn't do that. Well, she's doing it all now. And we have a finish. All right, let me get these in here. That's another thing. Like, there's a bunch of wax on this tray now. So what I have been doing is just taking a tissue. See the wax in the tray? So I just take a tissue, because what they were doing was sticking on top of each other, and I thought it was the drills, but no, it was the wax in the tray. And I just clean it off. See? Okay. There we go. We have a finish. Let me get this in frame. Okay. Oh, wow. What do you guys think? So I'm going to pull you up close so you can see the drills on the field here. And that's the baby Jesus up close. And that's Mary up close. Not too bad, right? Round drill rendering. I think that it looks pretty good. It certainly looks good from a distance. And I'm going to be framing this. I actually bought the frames. But see, some of the rhinestones I feel like are just a little bigger. Almost like the crystal canvas art designs. Oh, I've been doing this and I feel like this has really helped. Because also it helps push the drill into the glue better, because the glue wasn't the best. But someone was asking me how do the rhinestones look on this, and I think that, wow, it really adds such an element to this. The rhinestones are all over Mary. Look at her dress and her veil. So yeah, it's so sparkly. And so I have this one and then the little angels, and I got to dig it out. It's in my storage, but I'm going to be digging it out. And I actually got 2 frames, and we'll be framing both of them together, and then I'll put them on my wall and show you. But yeah, so did not run out of any colors, had plenty of all the colors. So this is kind of like a poster review. Obviously worked up very quickly. Here are my trash drills. One thing about Staroar is they have like a lot of like cut in half pieces. That's what their trash is. A lot of them are like just cut in half. You see those like, and then the rhinestones where the silver got put on the wrong end is what I was digging out. So that's the trash. Not a lot. Had plenty to do the painting. Yeah. What do you think? Let me know what you think in the comments. I don't know. I think I spent less than $20 on this. So very happy with it. I think it's going to look great on the wall. Did something just come off? No. No, see, this is a trash drill because the coating is on the wrong side. So yeah. All right, guys, that's all I have for you. I hope you enjoyed this WIP and Chat / finish completion / post review / Moogies. Yeah, if you did, if you wouldn't mind giving me a thumbs up on the way out, and if you want to see more from me, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and join the family and friends here at Kimbaskrafts. I would love to have you. You guys have a wonderful, wonderful day. Take care. Keep diamond painting.